This is the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 25, Wheels, Pills and Bellyaches.
Superman.
Hello and welcome to the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 25, Wheels, Pills and Bellyaches. I am Paul Hawkins, and as ever I am joined by my trusted colleagues,
Damien Hicks.
And Brett Summers.
Sorry, I was a bit thrown by trusted colleagues.
I really thought he was going to say sidekicks.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
I was going to say sidekicks and then I didn't want to upset anyone. so I changed it last minute.
That glory.
I am joined by the other two people that turn up every week. So, the sun is shining, the weather is sweet. It's trying to make a Indian summer out of September. Back at work, Brett.
Oh yes, school's back in, sucker.
And Damien has been sweltering in his man cave working.
Yeah, I think I did far too good a job insulating this place. It hit 30 this afternoon in here, so...
Although it's cooler now, and we're joined by a number of guests this evening, many of which have wings, some with 8 legs.
No rain there.
Yeah. So as always, let's stop the dilly-dallying and talk about what we want to talk about. As everyone knows, the world of popular culture, films, movies, and
television.
Oh, I was going to say, and merchandise as well. But
merchandise.
I couldn't think of the word. So let's come to you, Brett, first.
Okay.
What's mainly going down in Summers this week? Summerstown.
Okay, I have experienced the latest entry to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And I went in... I didn't go in cold. I went in a little bit because Shang-Chi's not...
Well, it's a bit of an odd one as well, because Marvel haven't publicised this as much as any other Marvel film, and they've been really criticised for it.
Yeah, and especially as it's like their first, their first Asian superhero, and they're giving it the big push in that way to then not capitalise on that and market it, or at least on this side of the world, where it probably could do with being advertised a bit more, and to show this, this equal footing is not the term I want, but it's.
Well, they're
it's
not just
everyone.
A sidekick for a change.
Yeah, exactly. They haven't got a little mask on, drive the car, do all the work, and get none of the credit.
Or someone that accompanies Doctor Strange, or it's a.
Oh, he's in it though. Wong's in it.
Yeah.
And he steals his scenes. But it is very, very good. It is definitely worth watching. I would say I would probably get a lot more out of it if I knew a lot more about sort of the Asian folklore and Asian fantasy characters and animals from all the different stories and that, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of that in there and a lot of references in there to all that. And you actually do see some of these various creatures and things. And I think if I knew all those stories, it would add to it and have a lot more meaning than it did to...
Whereabouts in the timeline does this one fit?
This is after the blip. This is when everyone's come back. You do see a few things. There's a couple of posters up for blip anxiety and to go to counselling and all that sort of thing. So I'm guessing it's probably after. Someone will write in and go, no, it was clearly there because he had a coffee cup or something like that. But I think it's after Winter Soldier and the Falcon, and it's after WandaVision, and I'm guessing it'll probably be around the time of when the new Spider-Man comes out as well, depending on how they want to do it.
Yeah.
But
and it's after Black Widow, because that was set
Black
in
Widow
1975.
Black Widow. Yeah, that was like, that the gap between, wasn't it? The Winter Soldier and Civil War and all that. But but no, it's a really good entry. It's exciting. It's dynamic. There's some nice humour in it at times. The fighting is very good. It's good to see they've got people involved who clearly have an idea in that style of fighting, rather than just sort of Hollywood actor trying to do it and it's sort of CGI'd in or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a really good story. But the star of the spoilers? Or should I just
Well, who
go?
is the star?
Well,
Because we might as well shout out, give him a shout out, because Marvel didn't.
Yeah. So we have got. It's as I may pronounce this wrong. Please don't hate me. But it's Simu Liu, or it's about Liu, as Shang-Chi. He was mainly famous, I believe, before this. I never watched it. But he was in a TV comedy show called Kim's Convenience, which apparently was really popular, but I never watched it.
And this might be an urban legend as well, but rumour has it that he started all this off by a tweet to Marvel saying, how about an Asian role model starring in an Avengers film or something? And they replied or whatever, and he said, okay, let's set this up, let's discuss it.
Oh, fair play to him. I didn't know that. Okay, again,
it may not be a fact.
Okay, well, we'll check that out.
As I said, could be an urban legend.
But it does pick up from the Mandalorian from the Iron Man films, because we've already had a Mandalorian who turned out to be British actor Trevor Slattery, played by Ben Kingsley. And there was a Marvel short after that, because there was a big uproar at the time that they sort of did the Mandalorian like that, but there is a Marvel short that was on one of the Blu-rays after, which is now they put on Disney Plus, where you see that the real Mandalorian comes looking for him because he's took his name and he didn't realise. And they pick up where that left off, and I would say that Ben Kingsley as Trevor Slattery may be my favourite character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now, as just like a British actor getting by and maybe having a drink or two, and so it picks up nicely from Iron Man 3. So you do need to watch the Marvel one-shot of that if you've never seen it before you watch Shang-Chi. It'll make a lot more sense.
Yeah, that's all sunk in.
No, you
Mandalorians. And
like Iron Man. You need to watch that.
No, you need to watch the one-shot. All Hail the King, it's called.
I need to watch the one show.
It's the one-shot. It was like a one-shot. It's like a sort of 10-minute DVD extra sort of little mini episode type thing. But it picks up at the end of Iron Man 3. You would love Ben Kingsley in this film.
Would I?
If you ever give yourself a chance to watch it.
Which film?
This film, Shang-Chi.
Oh, right.
And
You've mentioned about 4 films, I think, in that conversation. And in all honesty, I shut off once we got to the...
Yeah, I think everyone heard you. Everyone heard you pour the pint.
Yeah, I do apologise for that.
But
sounds like Brett was being electrocuted.
But no, it's really good. I don't want to give too much away, because there are lots of characters from different Marvel films that do pop up as it goes along.
Yeah,
we see a lot of new ones as well.
And was this a trip to the cinema, or is this available to download?
No, it's all at the cinema this time.
Oh, okay.
And
means I have to leave the house then.
Yeah, you got to leave the house now. It's safe again now.
No, it's
all good out there.
That's all.
But it's all back to the cinema now. There are 2. I will repeat. There are 2 after credit scenes. There's one sort of mid credits and one after the credits, so it is worth waiting around.
Okay.
And it does give a massive kind of, I guess, not really a teaser because it's more of a mystery, but you're getting an idea where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is heading next. Okay. Shall I say? But yeah, definitely worth a watch. And I was very impressed, but I think it's because I went in not really knowing that much about, or caring that much about Shang-Chi as a comic character, and yeah, a bit like Guardians of the Galaxy, as I say, I didn't care about them, but that ended up being awesome as well. So I think lower expectations. You've seen them ones?
I think I've seen. Is there, how many is there? 2.
2.
Yeah, I've seen both of them. Yeah.
Third one's
the last one's got
year,
Kurt Russell, isn't it?
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, I've seen them. Hey.
I've just picked myself up off the floor. And did you like them?
I enjoyed the first one. I thought it was very funny. The second one, not so much.
Good, no.
Okay, but Damien just admitted he enjoyed a Marvel film, ladies and gentlemen. Podcast history has been made.
All right, so let's move on. What else?
The other one, it's not out yet until September the 17th, but I've had it to review. I haven't posted a review yet because it's embargoed.
When are you posting it?
Probably on the 17th when it's released.
No, I wasn't sure whether you're like posting it the next day or two, and then you could talk
And
about
it's
it.
Sion Sono's Prisoners of the Ghostland. We reviewed the trailer a little while back, maybe last week or the week before, and it stars Nicolas Cage, Sophia Boutella, and Bill Moseley. And it is an amazing cinematic event, this film. And,
That's cool.
But yeah, Prisoners of the Ghostland, Nicolas Cage. It drops, just a reminder, on
17th.
September the 17th. It has been at Sundance. It has done some film festivals, so it might pop up around. But definitely worth a watch, especially if you've just got back from the pub and you might be feeling a bit more,
Open
to things.
new
and
ideas.
Maybe on a slightly different plane of existence.
Great.
Yeah. And that's pretty much been all I've watched, really, because...
No 21 Jump Street?
No, I've got to go back to work. I'm living 21 Jump Street again now. Only I'm the weird teacher.
So you're the weird teacher.
Or maybe I'm an undercover teenage police officer.
We can but hope.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, thanks for that. And let's move on to Damien.
So I've had a bit of a movie fest for a change. Feels like forever since I actually last watched a film. So got a couple to go through. Watched Boys from County Hell. Don't know if you remember, we did the trailer for that probably at least 2 or 3 months ago, and we all said it looks really funny.
How was it?
It is funny. So it's a horror comedy. It's based in Ireland, and it's everything we expected from the trailer. Small town, group of lads that are kind of resigned to their fate, and in this small town, and then a bypass is approved to go through the town, and it's basically going to destroy this cairn that apparently holds the grave of a vampire that Bram Stoker based his Dracula novel on.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's a good film. It gets off to a really good start. Pacing's done really well. Lots of laugh out loud moments in a kind of deadpan humour way. So if you like things, even though the story's obviously nothing like it, but if you like Derry Girls, Father's Head, and what's it called? I've forgotten what it's called now. Frank of Ireland, which was on over the summer or spring earlier this year. Which if you haven't seen, I'd recommend. That's funny as
And
well.
Mrs. Brown?
Not Mrs. Brown, no. I think I'll let it won't even have that mentioned in the podcast. Like I say, it starts off really well. There's enough horror elements in there to kind of keep you going. The comedy is really good, but the final act kind of lets it down. It kind of slows to a bit of a crawl. I think I've said this in the review on cultfaction.com that it starts really well, but then it just kind of, you almost get to the point where you just want to get the big bad revealed so you can get to the final act and see how that plays out. I don't mean you actually want the film, you're kind of so bored you want the film to end, but there's a little bit too much of a slow build, and that it goes from slow build almost to here's the bad, and that bad only gets about 5 minutes screen time, and it's a really good well-made character, good effects, whatever you want to say, but yeah, it's just not a lot.
Need some more
enough.
Goonies sequences to pad it out.
Yeah, it just needed something to even maybe the character's a little one-dimensional. I don't know.
Cyndi Lauper. It needed Cyndi Lauper.
It needed Cyndi Lauper, maybe, and a host of wrestlers chasing her around in the music video.
Works for me. I've had that dream.
I'm sure you have, Summers. I'm sure you have.
Chasing Cyndi Lauper.
But
Not the
yeah,
wrestlers.
overall, it's an enjoyable horror comedy, and I'd recommend watching it. It's a fun watch.
Cool.
Then we go on to Werewolves Within.
So what?
Werewolves Within.
Werewolves of
Werewolves Within.
Wolves.
Wolves.
Right.
Werewolves Within.
Okay.
Werewolves that are within.
As opposed to without
Without, yeah.
attacking you.
How was
Exactly.
that? You like a good werewolf?
I do like a good werewolf film. Absolutely do like a good werewolf
Was this a
film.
good werewolf film?
Well, no.
No.
So, this is apparently based on a virtual reality game from 2016 or something, which I've never heard of. I can only imagine how it plays out, because this film is it's basically a whodunit. So I assume it's a bit. I guess the video game is a kind of.
Was it like Who is the Werewolf?
Yeah, exactly. So I reckon 20, 30 years ago, this had been one of those sit around a dinner table and you all get given a character and you've got to read out the lines of that character, like a whodunit murder mystery.
Was it Sean Bean?
No, he's not in it.
Not Sean Bean.
He would have lifted this film, to be
Sean
fair.
Pertwee. Was it
Yeah.
Sean Pertwee?
It's Sean Pertwee. Yeah. You're thinking of Dog Soldiers, aren't you? Yeah. Sausages.
He was a good one. Oh, spoilers.
It's Sean Pertwee.
What? He is in it?
No.
Oh, no,
He's in
he's in, yeah, Dog Soldiers.
he's in Dog
I was like, he is in, I've just ruined it now.
No, he's not in it. He's not in it at all. Yeah, so it's a whodunit, and it's kind of. Has anyone seen The Beast Must Die? And I don't mean that BritBox thing that was advertised a couple of weeks ago or a year or so ago. I haven't seen that, but
I don't think so.
there's a 1974
Rings a
film
bell.
called The Beast Must Die. It's got Peter Cushing and various other
Oh, it might have done.
other people in, and that premise is that like a rich hunter type guy invites a load of people to stay at his mansion, and he knows one of them is a werewolf, and that's the whole film. I think even the film, if I
have seen
remember
that.
rightly, the film starts with this is a detective story, and you as the audience need to figure it out. And it actually, at some point in the film, either midway through or towards the end, it even stops and addresses the audience, say, "Have you figured it out yet?" type thing. So this is very much like that. They this small town. What's the town called? The town is called Beaverfield, and a naively happy park ranger has been assigned to work there as there's like whatever park rangers do. I don't know what they do.
Mess around with lovely
Yeah, chase bears and look
Yeah,
after picnic
bears and
baskets
stuff, yeah.
for all I know. I don't know.
protecting
But-
picnic baskets.
Yeah, he's there, and we get introduced to various eccentric characters of the village, and through various plot points and contrivances, they all end up at the one hotel that's in this town, and it's basically like Poirot or something where they're trying to figure out who it is. Then they all get dispersed again. Cut a long story short, you get 5 minutes maybe of werewolf, and it's
Not
and
enough
they're-
werewolf.
Say again.
Not enough werewolf.
Not enough werewolf, exactly. And to be fair, I would say within the first 20 minutes, you know who the werewolf is. There's no great.
Is it like one of
Reveal.
those episodes of CSI where like the guest star's more famous than everyone in it?
No.
and you're like, it's
I
clearly
think
that-
they're all at the
who's the murderer?
same level. I didn't necessarily recognise anyone from it. I'm there. Well, I did. That's not fair. But I know. I couldn't tell you what they've been in. But yeah, it's just painfully obvious who it is. So actually, for most of the film, you're kind of wanting to see the werewolf, and it's how can we put it? Oh, I know, from Werewolf in London, extra lunar activities. That's what you want to see,
Yeah.
but you don't. It's like I say, 5 minutes towards the end of the film. There's not even a werewolf transition to speak of. It's like there's a confrontation at the end, and it kind of 1 minute the person is talking, and the next minute it cuts to someone else, and it's back again, and that person is a werewolf. It's just there's no werewolf in this werewolf film. To be fair.
So just looking up the Beast Must Die,
Yeah.
and I have seen, now that I've looked at it, I remember it, but I was just reading the notes, and in some countries it was released as The Black Werewolf, which may take the whodunit aspect out of it
No.
slightly. It does, looking at the cast.
Yeah, but it doesn't, because that guy is the hunter. He's the one that's invited everyone to the to his house. I'm sure it is. It's been years since I've seen
Yeah.
it, but I'm pretty certain he's the global safari hunter type guy, and it's everyone else that is. You got to work out who it is. I'm sure.
Okay. Oh no, it might be. I was just
Yeah.
looking at it, it was released
It's-
like
it's
that,
not-
and I was just like,
It's an odd title for the film, to be
Yeah,
fair.
it's-
Although to be fair, The Beast Must Die is not necessarily
but
going to
that
tell you what's on the tin.
that's sort of they're going for the hammery thing, aren't they? They're just sort
Well,
of
yeah, I mean, it's got Peter Cushing in it.
yeah,
anyway,
and
to
it
be
was
fair.
it was a rated X
Was it?
back in those days, yeah, as well.
So there's that. I haven't done a review of it on Cult Faction because, to be quite honest, I don't necessarily think it's even worthy of putting it up on there. But if
You
you
could cut a paragraph.
if you well, yeah, I could do. I'll just put my notes up.
Hashtag content.
It's
Yeah, do
I've
that.
given it a 4 out of 10. But then we come on to an even worse film, and it pains me to even be talking about it. It's that bad. I mean, to be fair, it's no Thunder Force, but it's Aftermath, which is it's
I've
a
forgotten that.
Netflix.
Sorry, I'd forgotten about Thunder Force.
Good. I had until I was trying to draw a comparison. So I was trying to think of something. Have I seen a worse film than this? And to be fair, I've probably seen many worse films than this. But Thunder Force did come to mind, and it's so. Yeah, Aftermath. And I'd say I really don't want to spend too much time on it. It's that bad. The short premise is there's a young couple dealing with the aftermath of an affair, and they buy a house that was the site of a murder-suicide. Which in fact,
I've seen this advertised.
yeah, so even the people that the guy that buys the house is also, I don't know, it's like a guy that goes around cleaning up murder sites. So he's fully aware of what's happened there, and he gets the knockdown price for the house. And they move in, and creepy shit starts to happen, and outside forces are messing with their lives. The thing is, it's 2 hours long, or just under 2 hours long, and it just doesn't need to be. The premise itself is nothing new, but it just could have been executed better. And there's a load of lingering shots and panning angles and all that sort of
So
stuff.
trying to
which-
pad it out.
Yeah, and it takes the tension out of the film. And as a bit like Werewolves Within, you kind of already know what's going to be happening. You know, there's two kind of plot reveals in this, two reveals, and neither of them come as a surprise.
It's him, isn't it?
No, it's not that.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
But
It's
you know,
It's Iceman and Alice from Twilight. I knew I recognised him. I was just looking
well,
at that now.
the main guy was torch bearer or lantern lighter or whatever from The Boys.
Yeah, it was Iceman as well, and the X-Men. That's how he got the thing on the boat. Yeah,
Yeah,
Lamplighter,
like
yeah. And the girls from Twilight, which should never ever be mentioned on this show ever. So please carry on.
Yeah, well that's it. I wouldn't bother watching the film if I were you.
Cool. Saves me 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So it gets 2 out of 10. So that's the films I've watched, and I've watched Vera, but we don't talk about that, so we'll move on. Although Paul Kaye is in it, and he's very good in it for his entire 4-minute screen time.
That's all he needs.
But there is Annika on UK channel Alibi.
Is that the woman that travels around the helicopter?
No, she just pops up now and again on the One Show doing a report about the theatre. No, this is Nicola Walker playing a recently promoted detective in the Marine Homicide Unit somewhere in
she was
Scotland.
the one that was in the BBC drama. Was she?
She's been in Spooks, Unforgotten, various
Unforgotten.
other things.
Unforgotten, yeah.
Really good at Unforgotten.
Because I saw the trailer to it, and she seemed very similar to that.
It's a detective show,
right.
pretty much. But they're clearly going for that Scandi noir look, but it just doesn't.
Well, it's on Bognor.
No, it's in Scotland, and it's got all the right scenery because and I think any UK show that tries to do that will film it in Scotland because, well, the weather and the scenery, etc. But it just doesn't.
Nicola Walker.
Yeah, that's what I said, wasn't it? I'm sure I said
did,
Nicola
Tarek,
Walker.
yeah.
He was too busy looking it
He's
up.
too busy
was
looking
looking
at
it
trying
up.
to beat me to it when I
I
knew
was,
it
trying,
in
I
the
was
first
trying to
place.
help and support you.
Oh, Joe Jackson.
Ooh. Yeah, there's only 3 people that would ever get that, and they're sat in this room. But anyway, so yeah, they don't quite get to that look and feel. They you can see they're trying.
It's hard to do. Loads of UK and American dramas try to do that film.
Yeah.
But
There's just something there. It's just something
Yeah.
missing. But I think partly is the cases themselves in this don't seem to be dark enough. They're not. It's not chilling.
yeah.
They're almost. It sounds it's ridiculous thing to say, but they're almost kind of just routine murders with a routine, like a routine not plot. What's the word? Routine motive.
Yeah.
There's no. There's nothing necessarily.
It's not like Jack the Ripper or a serial killer.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. It's
Yeah.
literally, one person has been killed, and it's normally down to revenge, love, or money. It's one of those type of things. So it's very quickly become a pretty much a serial, procedural type show. There's one quirky thing about it, which is that she occasionally turns to camera and addresses the audience, the viewer, rather than it being.
Yeah, that sounds like. But that's taken from almost like Kevin Spacey did it when he was the president, didn't he? He
I know what
was
you mean,
really
but I never
good at it.
watched that.
House
It's
of Cards. Yeah, no, it's really good.
Which that was done in the original House of Cards, wasn't it? I know that I did watch that one. But
Don't forget, Zach Morris did it in Saved by the Bell.
good to know.
Sure.
And Bruce Willis in Moonlighting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of breaking the fourth walls.
Don't get me started on moonlighting. I could talk for hours on moonlighting. But anyway, so she does that, but the problem with that, it's not actually about the case. It's all about the troubled relationship she's got with her daughter.
It's a bit weird as well with that kind of feel that they're going for in the programme, because it
jars. It
always
takes you out
splits,
of the... Yeah, exactly. So...
Oh, God.
Just when you're trying to get immersed into the storylines, you're like talking to her. So today, I wanted to do her chips for tea. She said, no, I want pizza. Something like that. I don't know.
It's not far from that, to be fair.
Right.
You know, it's obviously it's her internal monologue that she's saying out loud to the camera. So it kind of takes you away. And like I said, it's not dark. So it's not... There's a little bit of quirkiness to it, but I'd say it's not camp enough to be a cold version of Death in Paradise, but it's not dark enough either to be like the new Wallander or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it just kind of falls off the mark. But that being said, well, we've said it before, Nicola Walker's very good. So,
Yeah.
No, I need to
3
watch this.
episodes in, and I'm going to carry on watching it.
But no, that sounds good. What's that on?
It's on Alibi.
Alibi.
Cool.
Yeah, that's me done.
Good.
So Paul.
Over to me.
Yep.
All right, so let's get the TV programmes over with to start with. So, keeping on watching Vigil on the BBC.
Okay.
Is it getting better or is it peaked? Because it had an awesome. Well, I've not watched it, but the start was shocking, and people were talking about it around the water cooler the next day, weren't they? And all that. Has it maintained that, or is it?
I didn't find it that shocking. It's okay.
I think it was who it was that shocked people but I think that was just like a stunt casting.
Right, so there's two bits. So
the guy that died. I don't
Yeah.
think people were expecting that person to die because of who they were in other shows.
Well, no, exactly.
But I think that's a good opener though for me. I think that's well done.
Won't ruin it, but the famous person that you think is going to be in the series.
I've not named who it was.
Drew Barrymore.
Or the show.
No, so he does a Sean Bean. He dies in the first few minutes, but the part of the series is he comes back in like previous snippets,
flashbacks and all that.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's I'm not shocked by anything or other than that. It's set on the submarine, as we know, and we talked about before, trying to find out who killed that guy. And there's other stuff going around, other mysteries about, there's a silent submarine that's following this submarine. Who is it? Where is it coming from? And then it's the backstory where you kind of feel actually there's a big conspiracy going on in the Navy that's kind of cascaded out of control, spilled out into the real world and not just in the submarines. And
in the Navy.
I was trying not...
It's in my head.
and so the latest at the moment is we always thought it was a Russian sub, but it's come back that it could be US sub. So why would the US be following this British submarine around? Anyway, it's okay. And the most annoying thing about it is it's you have to wait a week for the next episode to come out, which in this
down that weekly episodic television.
In this day and age of streaming service, I'm really struggling with this. But if you haven't started watching it, and similar to that program you just mentioned, Damien, it pads the time in the evenings. So spoke about this last week on Apple TV, Mythic Quest. So this was the one where they make video games. And
with the dude from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You're Brian Reynolds' mate.
Brian McElhenney. Mike McElhenney.
He's Mac in...
he owns Wrexham with Ryan Reynolds, he played...
what, sorry?
Wrexham Football Club.
Wrexham? That's not what I thought you said. Sorry. Carry on. Yeah,
so he heads up, or he's the creative director for Mythic Quest. Obviously top dog as far as he's concerned anyway, because it's his baby. Now, when I spoke about this last time, I said it was a bit like a cross between The Office and... What's the geek one?
Community?
No, American Geek.
Ugly Betty.
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
I didn't even think of that.
And it is a bit like that. I mean, it's got the humour, it's got the correctness, and it's also got that set pieces of working in an office with each other. I really enjoy it. So I finished watching season 1 and I've watched all of season 2. And there are some really clever bits. There's some really interesting ones as well, because they a lot of the episodes, or a few of the episodes, were filmed during lockdown. So it's them having to deal with similar issues that everyone's had with team meetings and everything like that. So you've got the old writer, that's more the creative writer, come up with the backstories, even though he never does. And he's the one that can't turn on his camera, or when he does, it's at the end of the meeting when he finally manages to do that. And that was really interesting, actually, just because they did it really well. And you know,
No, it does sound like a show I want to watch, but
even for comedy,
it's the Apple TV thing.
Even for a comedy, they do yes, it is, you know, very much an American comedy, but they also bring it back to those more sentimental moments as well. So there's the co-creative director, or newly promoted one. She is isolated and on her own. She can't leave. She's normally programming for like 23 hours a day. She's finished what she needs to do for the latest release, and she has nothing to do, and she basically breaks down. So Matey goes up and is FaceTiming her all the while, and she's obviously in tears. And then there's just a knock at the door. It says, "Go to your door," and they just cuddle. And you know, it's really nice sentimental moments like that, which gives it another dimension to some of the other myriad of comedies out there. I mean, I'm a bit of a sucker for this, because when I first started watching that first episode, I thought, no, I can see what they're trying to do. This isn't going to get me. And as I said, I watched the end of the first season and the whole of season
Well,
two in a week.
that's the genius of it. We talked about it in other things, and I mentioned it earlier on. The better shows are those ones that create those worlds. You know, the Simpsons got better once we met all the other characters.
Yeah.
You know, Only Fools and Horses developed and got better once we met all the other characters as well, and the world they lived in. It wasn't just them in the flat anymore. You know, and all, you know, a lot of those shows do that. I mean, the X-Files and its mythology as it began, we had all these other different people. You know, and that, I think that's what a lot of shows
And it's one of those things as well.
doesn't do anymore.
Last week we said Apple TV. Obviously, I'm subscribing to it now. There's limited free to watch material, and this is the one that keeps popping up, and I've just dismissed it in the past, and I didn't. And the other thing is, it's not obviously, whereas Apple, the soundtrack is blooming good as well, because they've got all the rights to the music.
Yeah.
And they've also got a big budget. So when they try and make one of the days is back in the office, and they're making a big medieval scene out of it. They have a little jousting session, all of them, and as opposed to them just standing in a room, in come the special effects, and they're top notch. And again, yeah, it's obviously a big budget. It's Apple, so the soundtrack's good, and yeah, the cast all do a sterling job. So yeah, I must admit, I'm a bit of a fanboy.
And that's, was it Mythic Quest?
Mythic Quest
On Apple TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you do subscribe, or if if it becomes available to watch elsewhere, then give it a go. Because as I said, it was a surprise for me, and a nice surprise.
Excellent.
So carrying on with again, free TV viewing for me, but obviously I subscribe. So
Paul is now sponsored by Apple TV.
Not yet. No,
He's tried.
Still waiting. You know as well as I do that there's a big release that I've been pinning my hopes on.
And also, there's a new show on Apple coming up.
So that, apart from the normal TV watching, I did watch a couple of films. One of which was Quiet Place 2, with Emily Blunt, Millicent Simmons, who plays her daughter, and Cillian Murphy, making an appearance as a guy that they used to know that's been living on his own in what looks like a factory for the last few years, and has basically ignored everyone's pleas for help.
Birmingham.
No, that would have been an interesting. Peaky Blinders takes on aliens. I'd watch that.
By order of the Peaky Blinders.
Anyway, so kicks off straight after the first one. There's not a period of like 6 months.
Just if anyone hasn't seen the first one, can you just give a quick sentence?
Yeah, okay.
Just
So Quiet Place, aliens land on Earth, cause havoc. They are attracted by anything that they hear. So literally, the only way to survive is by being quiet.
Okay, well, so they're like blind. It's just all sound.
Yeah. So they pick up on sound waves. littlest things like running or crunching on stones, they come and
I'd
get
be
you.
well dead.
Yeah, you would. Emily Blunt's daughter is deaf, so they were clued up to start with because they could sign. Everyone could do sign language. But as I said, that's where you survive by not making any sound. So they managed to do all right in the first one, up until a point where, again, I won't ruin it if you haven't seen the first one, Damien.
I have, but
I just don't want to give out any spoilers.
But I'm guessing there's some sort of tragic demise of someone.
At the end of the
And
first
I'm
one.
guessing there's not in the second one who it might be.
Yeah. So the second one kicks off straight from there. They see a potential beacon of hope. They decide to go for it. Literally run into, well, not literally, but they then stumble across Cillian Murphy in the factory. While they're there, they come across a radio signal, which is a song, but it's giving them some directions of where to go for help.
What song?
I can't remember. It's something somewhere
Sesame
beyond the
Street.
sea or something like that.
Somewhere beyond the sea.
Somewhere beyond the sea.
We can't sing anymore because it costs us money.
Yeah. But
That has been used in a lot of sci-fi. Like the X-Files used that. Other
it's
films
been
have
used in
used
loads
that.
of things.
Yeah.
Sitcom.
But it's just like one of those. No, but sci-fi for
Probably
some
cheap.
reason. I guess it's the beyond the sea bit. Maybe that's like the.
and it's got multiple. It could be
Yeah.
water. It could be space.
So yeah, it's like a.
Time.
That does pop out in a lot of sci-fi kind of lure. Is that the word?
Sci-fi what?
Lure.
Law.
Lure.
Lure.
No, law.
Lure. That's what fishermen use, isn't it? That's what lure
Shout
is.
werewolves.
I'm going to listen back. I don't think there's anything wrong with the way I said werewolves.
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 Werewolf.
Within.
I
Werewolf.
werewolf. What's in your jumper? I werewolf. Sorry, carry on.
It's fine. But I forgot I'm doing this with
Yeah,
two
so there was
farmers.
beyond the sea. They got the signal.
So they decide to go to where they think this safe haven is. Obviously to get there.
Sanctuary. Do they all get eaten and stuff?
Well, I won't give it away. But do they get there? Don't they get there? Do they find safe haven at the end of it? Watch the film to find out, or don't. Because if I'm honest, it's not great.
This is just again, not seen either. I like the concept of A Quiet Place and the fact that you can't make noise. But doesn't that make it a bit crap to watch if everyone's just really quiet for like 90 minutes?
They obviously whisper, and there are scenes where they do talk. But
No, I'm just wondering, there's an
No, I
atmosphere.
think
Or
it-
does
I think
it,
if I remember right,
does
the
it,
first
does
one-
it set a mood, or is it
No,
just one of
the
those?
first one was quite tense.
yeah, no, it's
It's a
good.
lot of tense
No, that's what I'm saying. In
so
the
it does
right
make for a
way,
good film.
in the right way, it could be like a nice atmosphere. In the wrong way, it could just be like,
No, it's not.
what's going on?
It's not a bad film, if I remember rightly. It's about three or 4 years ago now,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's
Yeah.
quite a while ago.
What was the other one? Was it Birdcage or something? Where
Yeah, similar sort
where
of.
they were blind.
Yeah.
That was Bullock, wasn't it? That one she
No,
had.
it wasn't that bad.
No, I thought it was alright.
Boom.
Yeah, that's Sandra
yeah.
Bullock.
She had the thing on, didn't she?
Yeah,
The blindfold, looked like a ninja.
yeah. But with Quiet Place 2, Emily Blunt it was almost like she was a bit actor that was just there. She didn't really do much acting. She wasn't. I know she's supposed to be the main character, but she didn't feel like it. It was kind of really. They used a almost wishy-washy. And again, it was the same with Cillian Murphy. They didn't really give him any acting to do. And I know it's not one of those films that's full out acting to get awards at the end of the year. It's an action film.
You're paying that money for the talent. You'd have a nice scene for them to get their teeth into at least somewhere.
And they're good actors, but they didn't shine. The one that really did stand up was Millicent Simmons, who plays the daughter. She did well.
And can I say, is she a deaf actress? Do we know, or is she? Because you said she's deaf in the film. I'm just wondering.
I don't know.
I just wonder. Oh, I'll have a look. No, because it might be. Because there's a lot of that in Hollywood now, isn't there? Like.
Well, that's the only reason she got the role.
No, that's the reason why they've done it, because you can't have someone who can't be.
Oh, I don't know. Well,
There's a lot of that sort of.
Well, either way,
I'm
she
just
did
really
the sterling job of her role. But yeah, as far as films go, it wasn't as good as the first one. Kel Surprise. If you're going to
Ooh, fancy.
If you're going to watch it, don't necessarily go to the cinema, do a streaming. If
No, she's legit.
she's a legit actor.
She's legit. No, she is a legit deaf actress who, at a young age, began performing 10 stories in the American Sign Language, and then joined the theatre and drama club, and has pretty much been in. And it would appear she's worked with nearly everyone. Looking at just some of her stuff. Fair play to her. You go, girl.
Cool.
Power to the people.
Damn right.
So, without patronising anyone else, that's
I wasn't meaning that in a patronising way.
no, you go, girl. Well done.
That's what kids say nowadays.
Yeah, right. So moving on.
Please do.
I'm not going to spend too long talking about the last film I watched. The only reason I'm talking about it now is to save anybody else. Again,
Oh, so this is like a public health warning.
yeah, it's similar to before, because we're all feeling at the moment where we've been waiting for films to come back to the cinema, or maybe we're still a little bit reluctant to go out and about, or maybe, childcare it isn't as what it was. So we're all tempted sometimes. I'm a bit bored. Maybe I just buy that film. So, Fast and Furious 9. So I've seen a few of the Fast and Furious
I
series.
can't stand those films.
Some of them are alright. Fast and Furious 9, yeah. Don't go there. Don't bother. Don't. Even if you're tempted, even if there's nothing else on, turn it off. Listen to an audible.
Is this
back,
the
read it.
one? I don't know if this is true.
So
or
this is
not,
daft, okay?
But do they end up in space or something?
Yeah, which is going to be one of my points.
Okay, sorry, I've ruined it.
So yeah, this goes.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's because I'm not going to talk about this. Don't watch it. So I think it was fair game to kind of ask.
Well,
yeah, I was just-
that's how I was going to finish it.
Okay.
So they're
So I'll
trying to
get your
take it to
ending.
that next level by pulling out a full-on A-team, converting a car to go into space to take out, like an evil satellite. It's
And people mock Sharknado.
well, it was bad enough on one of the ones a couple of releases ago where they went from one building to another in Dubai or wherever it was. But yeah, they've literally taken a car into space.
Are these films just paid for by the car companies? Is it like, I don't know, like Ferrari or whoever
Well,
it might
most
be?
of the cars.
Other companies are available. Like, it's like £100 million. Go make a movie where our cars look cool.
Well, most of
Is
the
that a thing?
big cars that appear in it are like from like the 70s or 60s or something, which is nothing that really bugs me. They're in the UK 1 minute, then they're over in Europe literally the next minute. They've got all their cars with them. It's like how did that happen?
Yeah, it takes longer. That cross-channel ferry for Isle of Wight, was that scene in there?
But why would you
Was
take
that them that wiped down that
But why would you
box?
take your car over as opposed to getting another car over there? They've got contacts. But anyway, that's a little bugbear of mine. Yeah, just don't bother.
News desk.
Some news items.
Okay, so that jingle, as if we didn't know, takes us through to the news items
The
for this week.
expertly put together jingle.
No time.
No expense spare.
I was going to say, it's no time spared. I'm coming
Yeah,
up with
that's
that.
true. No time either.
Okay, so we've got a lot to get through. So first of all, we are kicking off looking at the live action Rick and Morty with Christopher Lloyd. That's being teased by Adult Swim.
Yeah, you're right. The internet broke earlier this week when Adult Swim debuted a live Rick and Morty clip with Christopher Lloyd as Rick Sanchez and Jada Martell as Morty Smith. There's two different ones. You've got the first one when they come out the portal. There's another one involving a pickle. It's been noted and discussed across the internet that Adult Swim have designated the clip as C132, which, as someone who watched the show and enjoyed it, didn't pay much attention to, but the Rick and Morty chowderheads have pointed out that the show takes place in the C137 designation, so this isn't meant to be the exact same characters we know. Oh no, you might have thought it was, but it's not. I guess duplicates now, using the Loki lingo. it has been pointed out that Rick and Morty comics have used DC 132 for its lead characters, but there's a lot of excitement. People are wondering what's going on, what's going to happen next. Personally, I think it's like an end of credit sort of throwaway couple of scenes just to sort of tease people. Do we need a live action one?
Well, I haven't watched any Rick and
No,
Morty,
me neither. So
but I've seen like that 5 seconds, and I'd watch it. Just having Christopher Lloyd back on screen, having him in Nobody as a kick-ass, pensioner, and now having him in Rick and Morty. Yeah, I definitely tune in.
I mean, Rick and Morty, apparently, if you trail the creation back, apparently it was kind of based on like Doc and Marty, and that's where it kind of the idea came from. So it's sort of that sort of thing that was inspired by, or even I think they may have even wanted to do that, but then realised it would cost them a lot of money to get their hands on that franchise. So it became Rick and Morty, and maybe the time travelling became a portal gun.
So I think. So how many seasons of this is there?
There are 5, I think, seasons now.
5 seasons.
Highly
How many
recommended.
episodes per season?
Not a lot. Only, I reckon there might be about 40 episodes.
In all, not per season.
Yeah, no, but I reckon they're like 20 minutes a hit. There's not.
Because for me now, even if
Well,
I did
it's-
want to start watching this, all in the back of my mind would be, I'm watching this so I can get to the point where this makes some
sense.
sort of sense,
Yeah.
or is relevant to my life. And to be honest with you, I don't think I've got the time or inclination to do that.
There's been 51 episodes over 5 seasons.
Yeah.
But don't forget, they're only 20 minutes an episode. So you're not
50
sitting.
something episodes of an adult cartoon, I don't think I'm there.
I think you like it. It's got the time travel, it's got the parallel Earth type things, it's got most of the things you'd like, apart from the fact that it's a cartoon.
With stupid humour, no doubt.
A what?
With that just kind of stupid humour that all these cartoons have.
Oh no, this is a bit more. This is a bit more. Rick and Morty is a bit different. Yeah, Dan Harmon's one of the creators who did Community. So if you like that, Justin Roiland as well is very good. A lot of self-referencing as it goes along, but also a lot of WTF moments of you trying to work out what's going on. And there's this whole thing on the internet where people are trying to decode it and go through it and all that, Chowderhead Central. And, I think there is something to it, but also at the same time, I think they're just feeding them scraps along the way and just laughing at them.
Yeah.
It's just one of those. But it is a great show. I think you'll like it. It is very much, as I say, the sort of parallel Earth, timey-wimey, with a bit of just blatant, Rick is basically, most of the time, is an arsehole, and but is also happening to be like the most intelligent man in the universe, or something like, or we'll say he is. And there's lots of different random characters, and I don't want to give too much away, as much as we've ruined every other TV show going this episode. I don't want to give too much away. And but yeah, no, you should watch it. Give yourself maybe 3 episodes. Well, was it 20 minutes? Give yourself 3 episodes. That's an hour. If you're not in by then.
Okay. I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I think they're all the first 3 or 4 seasons are on Netflix. 5 is on.
Is that the latest season?
Yeah,
That's
on
E4.
I think E4 have got it now.
Yeah.
Because it was Paramount, then it was Adult Swim, and now E4 have got it. So, give it a watch. Don't let kids watch it though.
Cool. Okay, so moving on. We had a little snippet of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time some time ago, and now they've released a proper teaser trailer.
Yeah, it is our first official look with Golden Globe winning actress Rosalind Pike as Morianne. Have I said that right?
Well, I used to say Moraine when I was reading
okay.
it. I don't know if I'm right.
Yeah. You're the fan. Based on the Robert Jordan novel series of the same name, and it's coming to Amazon Prime on November the 19th. And Moraine is a member of the powerful all-woman organisation of channelers, who are apparently are magic users, called the...
I always used to say A Sadie.
ACD, I'll take that.
But maybe.
Maybe the trailer will give us...
That's one of the things I'm looking forward to.
So let's see.
So then, what do we think?
It does look interesting, but I'm just worried that I haven't got 7 years to put into another TV series that ends badly. Yeah.
You've been scarred, have you? Game of Thrones has scarred
Well,
you.
Game of Thrones, I didn't mind the ending of Game of Thrones. It wasn't necessarily what I wanted, but it made sense, and I wasn't as mortally wounded as everyone else was. Same with Lost. Lost had a good ending. It just people didn't understand it. We did, but America were like, they're all dead. No, they weren't. Watch it. Yeah, so I don't know, because this is going to be a long haul, isn't it? I'm imagining. How many books are there?
I know there's more than 13.
So let's say that could be 13 series then.
No. So,
Well, no, because they're more than likely it'd be at least 2 books into one season, wouldn't it?
so with the first season, I think they put at least 2 to 3 books in the content for this.
But
apparently they've kept out some bit that they haven't gone into.
but does that mean that everyone's going to moan because they've not put, Frederick the Tree's not in it, so it's shit.
I genuinely don't know, but that it's like a lot of fantasy novels. A lot of it's travelling, and a lot of it's
Quests.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Is there stupid names like Tarragon the Great and nonsense like that?
There are a lot of
Butto the
names, but
Foucault.
there's normal names as well.
Dave.
I think the
He's a horse.
tricky thing for Wheel of Time, when you look at the trailer, you instantly pick up on the Lord of the Rings vibe. I mean, a lot of the sets look very much
I was
like...
thinking Hawk the Slayer.
A lot of the sets look a bit like Gondor, the big city from Lord of the Rings.
There better be a giant cyclops.
Obviously, there's lots of travelling, so there's similar scenery. They're walking across moors and mountains and all that kind of good stuff. And
Do they keep to the path? Beware of the moon.
the issue is that not a lot of people know that. It doesn't obviously have the wider appeal, or most of the people don't know about Wheel of Time from a fantasy perspective. If you're into fantasy novels, chances are you've come across Wheel of Time or Robert Jordan's work.
It's never come up when I've Googled fantasy, to be fair.
Yeah, but you normally follow fantasy with something else in your Google searches. However, it's got about a year's break on Lord of the Rings coming out. And maybe that will play into its strengths and get people watching it in that void of Game of Thrones, and Witcher tried to do it, Siege trying to do it on Apple TV.
You got that other thing that was on Netflix back in the spring. I can't even remember what that was called now, with the weird partition down the middle of the country with the black fog type stuff.
Oh yeah, you like that? You'd read that. Remember, you had to pass through it, and then there was bad stuff.
I only watched one episode of that.
Yeah, I don't know what it was called. Can't remember now.
Yeah, I
but
can't remember.
it
Yeah.
very much, that trailer reminded me
Smoke
very much of that.
and something like
Smoke and Mirrors.
I can't remember. I'm hoping it's better than that, because again, this is more of a old-fashioned fantasy novel as opposed to whatever that
was.
See,
series
that
we're trying
normally
to do.
means long.
Yeah, but at the same time,
I like a good fantasy film.
but if you want a series like Game of Thrones, that went on for 10 series or something like that.
yeah, but a lot happened.
Yeah, no,
They weren't
exactly.
just all walking somewhere for
No,
2 years.
But this isn't all walking for 2 years. There's
Do
a
they
lot.
have extraordinarily large, hairy feet?
There's lots of battles. There's lots of full on war waging. Lots of magic and cutting down armies of people with magic, and there should be some gore. I didn't actually see much in the trailer, obviously, but there is in the books. Obviously, I'm going to give this a watch in November. I'm trying not to set my sights too high or expectations too high, because it's got big shoes to fill, and obviously everyone is going to be comparing it to Lord of the Rings because it's a fantasy.
And Thrones. Game of Thrones as well.
And Game of Thrones.
So for you, as a fan who's read most of the books, is that correct? What 3 things from it should be in this that are going to appeal? Because look, we're saying like some stuff's probably going to get cut out and whatever.
Well, no.
So what if someone's listening to this going, well, I saw Game of Thrones, I've seen Lord of the Rings.
Right, so it's nothing like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, give us like the bare facts.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, shortened synopsis is if you're into fantasy novels, it's that old adage: you've got a farm boy type role.
Like a Wesley.
But, a mysterious figure comes along, says he's got a power, says he's needs to get trained up. Basically,
So his aunt and uncle get killed then.
he has to leave the village to go and get trained.
Becomes the Dread Pirate Roberts.
As I said, he gets these powers, but there's evil forces to try and
Does he have a twin sister?
because men shouldn't have magical powers.
Has he
So
got a
people are
twin
hunting
sister,
him.
though?
There's evil battles.
He's got a twin sister, hasn't he?
No, or does he? Just watch it. But as I said, he gets magical powers. He has to fight other people with magical powers. Big battles. It could be good. It's not just them walking for 2 hours or two seasons to return a ring.
I spent about 8 hours watching 4 little midget hobbits walking around for like.
Well,
2
no,
hours.
exactly.
When they could have flown there at the beginning.
So there's less of this. Less of just walking
Cool.
around. Hopefully.
Okay, then. So we've got that on the watch list. We will wait for that till November. And were you impressed again with the first look? Is it how you pictured it? Because I keep asking you because you're the only one out of us that have read it.
Well-
So is that kind of how you expected it to be?
So, the thing with Wheel of Time is the novels are actually really gory. I didn't get any. Obviously, they're limited to what they can show in the trailer, but I had almost a hint that they're going to kill people with magic beams of light, and you're not going to necessarily see much gore.
You want a good decapitation with a sword or something?
It's a bloody sequences in it. So as long as they get that
I'm down with that.
right, then hopefully it's not just going to be another one of those almost teen
Yeah.
dramas or teen fantasy dramas that they've really toned down.
Like Dawson's Creek.
Yeah. So if it's more like Witcher, then yeah, I've got some good expectations for this. Okay.
Cool.
So, moving on, McFarlane's Toys have revealed the Princess Bride action figures.
Yeah, the 1987 cult classic is back again in action figure form. And they're from McFarlane Toys, which do have a good representation of bringing action figures and toys to the market. And so far we've had the images. I'll throw this one to you, Damien. You know, as a big fan of the Princess's Bride.
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride, sorry.
Princess's Bride. Christ's sake, man.
I don't know. Never watched it. What do we think?
Well, you'd think, as you said, being a big fan of the film, I'd be kind of excited about this, but I'm just not. If these had come out back in 1987 and I found them on eBay, that would be a different kettle of fish. But this is just, what can we cash in on as a toy line?
But even action figures, they don't work.
Yeah, they're probably just,
if you were a kid, who are you going to battle against? They wouldn't be action figures at the time.
Yeah, exactly. They're just, for want of a better term, they're just figurines that have been produced for sad basement dwellers to keep in a box for however many years in the hope that they'll get some value. But
let's not knock the box keeping. Let's not knock the box keeping.
But you asked my opinion. That's my opinion.
That's fair enough. You don't have to insult our
honestly
listeners.
couldn't care less.
But if you're going to do it, remember when, funny enough, when Lord of the Rings came out, whatever company it was, the proper statues, the lifelike statues, and they were going for ridiculous money at the time because everyone was buying them. If you're going to do it, and if people really wanted to have something like that, then do like a figurine, a statue figurine. Well, I don't get a toy.
But what are we thinking looking at them? Are we liking the look? Do they represent?
Well, you instantly know exactly what they're supposed to be when you look at them. I mean, there's obviously no mistaking Andre the Giant towering above the rest of them.
I'm a bit more of an Andre expert than I am a Princess Bride expert, but I'm not convinced on Andre's face. Out of all the others look like kind of how I remember the film when I watched it in 1987 and didn't watch it since.
Okay, but again,
But-
from an action figure perspective, they're better than some of the Star Wars figures looked. They're more realistic. It's halfway in between an action figure and, as I said, a statue. It's but
But Andre looks like it's got a wonky face.
So are we now saying that the mark of a good action figure is it has to look exactly like?
Well, not exactly
man it's
like, but
based upon?
it looks
you know-
like they've put an effort in on the others, and then they're like, "Oh, we've got this giant head one as well. We got some in that box over there from one we made like Hagrid or something."
Well, I mean, but
and then
that's just what's going to happen, isn't it? Because
and Wesley's wearing a mask.
Yeah,
But okay then, so we wouldn't buy. Is that what we're saying?
yeah. I'm not going to go out of my way to.
What about?
Obviously, it also depends on the price point. I don't know if it says it in the article, but
I don't know.
no doubt you're going to be probably looking at the UK 30 quid mark, something like that.
Apparently, there might be a second wave if these do well.
But they all that makes no sense whatsoever because it's not like they got. Well, you could have Wesley
Without
as
a mask.
as a farm boy, and then
Well, apparently the other ones might be Prince Humperdinck, Count Rugen, Miracle Max, and some other ones. I don't know them all. Is that the one Peter Falk reads the story to him at the start? Why isn't there a Peter Falk figure? I'd buy
Why are we
that.
having this? Why are
Because he
we?
spends all his time watching adult cartoons and not proper stuff. That's
I
why.
haven't watched it for years. I don't really like it.
If I really wanted some Princess Bride memorabilia, I saw this the other day on. It might have been a pop-up ad on Facebook. Some people are doing the book, but they've done it in ye olde stylings, and it's actually a good book.
Oh, was that the one? Because they've done like the never-ending story.
Yeah.
They've done them like the books look in the film.
So that's what I'd rather.
Yeah,
have,
that's cool.
As opposed
That's
to
interesting. It's quirky, but action figures, it's just action figures.
Yeah.
And like I said, if it was, original, if you, like I say, came across something original from the 80s when the films originally came out, that hasn't appealed to me. But, like the reissue, we talked about this, I think, before with the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
And how much those cost at the moment. The ones from the reboot, whatever you want to call it. That doesn't hold interest for me. But an original on eBay, I don't need to because I've got them all up in the loft. They'll be over there at some point soon on that shelf. But that holds interest, not reissues. It's like you're just stocking the shelves of Forbidden Planet to go in and have a look. Well, that's cool. That's nice. Yeah, I remember that film.
So maybe
Right, anyway,
as a present,
let's
but you're
move on.
buying it yourself.
Yeah. So next up is the Matrix 4 poster and website has been revealed.
Yeah, the Matrix 4 is finally coming because everyone wanted another Matrix film, especially after 2 or 3. Whew. But what's unique about this is that you have to go to whatisthematrix.com, which, to be honest, I've been trying to do that for years. And they have got a very clever website where, depending on like where you are and the time of day, etc., what you see will be completely different. So you'll get a choice of a red or a blue pill. You will click on that. And then you will get some sort of short trailer about something to do with the film. But apparently there are over 180,000 unique teaser videos that can appear. So that's a lot.
It is a lot, but I don't think any amount of trailers is going to convince me to click on it.
We've said it many times. The Matrix got Highlanded. They made the perfect film. It was a good story with a good ending. Then suddenly it made a bucket load of cash, and then they had to make more and just kind of watered it down and ruined it.
Exactly.
4 apparently is going to prove that wrong. It's going to prove it wrong. It's got them all back.
Hasn't got all of them back.
Oh, who's not back? Oh, mate, he's not back. Is it Morpheus? Yeah. Although his voice is in the trailer, or someone that sounds like him.
Well, I've just clicked on the red pill. It's alright. It's a gimmick. Full trailer's released in 2 days, apparently, according to the end of that.
Yeah, we will get the full one in 2 days. So as you listen to this, the full trailer will be coming out about the same time.
I think the issue is that when Matrix was first released, the gimmick was, what is the Matrix? Now everyone knows what the Matrix is.
Oh yeah, the Matrix Resurrections. That's the official title of the Matrix 4.
We'll see. I mean, I am actually interested in Matrix 4 because I like the first one.
I'll probably end up watching it when it hits Sky Movies.
But that's what I don't get. Well, you said it yourself there, but it made the perfect film. It doesn't need anything after that.
No, but I mean, I'm so craving decent films after 2 years of lockdown. So I've watched everything. Yeah, I am a bit like Neo, where he has all the implants. I know kung fu. I know movies now. I need some new films.
But
So
the main thing that interests me on this though is that they've spent that amount of time on the viral marketing of it, and I imagine that somewhere on the website someone's going to find that if you click something and type it in backwards and something else, you'll get something else. Because no one's really viral marketing, which basically, as far as I was concerned, started with the Blair Witch, who done the most amazing thing where they had the website up like a year before the film was even mentioned, and people thought it was real and sharing it, and then they found the film. And if you don't remember, that was in a time back in it was called the 90s, and the internet was new, and they just smashed it and turned a cheaply made budget horror movie into an all-time classic
Phenomenon.
and started the found footage thing for the mainstream audience. So was it 180,000 different video clips?
Not 180,000 different clips.
180/0 video. Yeah. They said there's over 100 depending on. Cause I think there's one for every minute of the day, and then each pill, and then the variant of where you are in the world as well, or something.
See, that just screams to me shit film. We've got to do something about this.
yeah, we need to drum up some business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But why? Is viral marketing that much of a deal in that way anymore? I mean, obviously we know pop-up ads and adverts everywhere and all that stuff, but the actual,
I don't know, but I guess it does kind of, it's a throwback to how the first one was originally marketed in the first place, because there was a lot of, like you said, it was almost like the birth of the internet. A couple of years afterwards, but you had the phone.
1999.
Yeah, that flip phone. I mean, I'm not going to talk about. I'll refer you to my Cult Faction article, The Matrix. Who cares? You can read all about all of that stuff.
That's available at cultfaction.com.
Exactly. But yeah, it does throw back to that original premise of how they marketed the film, and you had the phone, and what was it? WAP. It was WAP, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Wow.
It's nostalgia there for you.
Not the popular song the kids listen to nowadays.
But
it meant something totally different in 1999, where we were partying like it was 1999. But do we think this is going to be a hit or a massive miss?
It'll be a hit because the all previous three have been hits. Whether that's with critics or not, it doesn't matter. People are going to go and watch it.
I've got a feeling it's going to be a turd.
I don't think.
I think
the film itself might well be.
No,
a
but
turd.
I mean, even if it's good, I think it's going to be.
I don't know.
I think it's just like people watch it and that. Because even like, I mean, I've shown the kids at school like when we've had a film they're saying, and they're like, "You'll like this, The Matrix," and they're bored in 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah, but again, this isn't for kids.
Yeah. It's not. It's
and Keanu Reeves is still big with the likes of the John Wick series of films.
Yeah, but they don't know the average. No, but the average teenage audience now, who are the ones going out spending, they don't know who he is.
But then, do teenagers really necessarily go to the cinema? This is more.
Yeah, I mean, this
Gen
is aimed at us.
Yes, it's a Gen X film.
For all the things where we're like, this isn't really aimed for us. This is aimed at us.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, are we going to go, or are we going to wait till it comes on Sky Movies?
Well, I sadly went.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be like that. I think it might be a big nosedive, and then we go, oh my God, we lost thousands of pounds or millions of dollars. I think it might be. But the other side is your argument that everyone's just excited that there's a new film out and they'll go and watch anything.
Maybe. As I said, the trailer drops in 2 days. But even before that, we kind of know bits about what's going to happen. I'm almost siding with Damien. It's like, well, who cares?
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing as well.
the Matrix. Well, yeah, but
I think we actually all three agree on something, which is quite a rare occasion. But I think it might be the turd in the Matrix punch bowl. I think people got burned on the other two, and they're like, yeah, I'll wait till it comes out on DVD or whatever now, Netflix or whatever it is.
Let's move on with some more somber news about Michael K. Williams.
Yeah, acclaimed actor Michael K. Williams has passed away at 54. Known for his role on Omar on The Wire. He was also in Boardwalk Empire, Hap and Leonard, Lovecraft Country. Other films for us would be stuff like The Purge, Anarchy. He did a few episodes of Community and lots of other things through his career. Sadly, it does look like it was a drug-related death, although nothing, I don't think, officially has been disclosed, but police are looking for a drug dealer according to TMZ, so take that for what you will. But, yeah, good actor. I enjoyed the stuff he was in. Rest in peace, dude.
So, we've covered this slightly before, but we've got some more details about Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Well, the big news this week is that it looks like, and this is the Sony Marvel dynamic at the moment, where they're working together on the Spider-Man films, but Venom isn't classed as part of that deal. So I've got a fly on my laptop. Venom isn't necessarily part of that deal, even though it comes from Spider-Man. But I think Sony originally had Venom pending to come out on October the 15th, but it looks like Sony have sat back and watched Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings come out and take $90 million on Labor Day in America on its own, and have suddenly thought, wait a minute, people are going to the cinema again, and they've now rushed it forward 2 weeks, and they're suddenly now up in the marketing campaign and just pushing it to be out earlier. So it's going to be out now on October the 1st, and I think that's the first time I can ever think where they've actually tried to rush a film and bring it out earlier in the current climate, because everything, like Top Gun Maverick's been put back for about 10 years now, hasn't it? And other films, now it's sort of...
Now they're rushing, they're going the opposite way.
Yeah, now they're suddenly going in the opposite way, because I think they were sitting back, and Shang-Chi has just sort of smashed a lot of day records and whatever. As I say, 90 million on the Labor Day it came out in America. And that's the American domestic box office, let alone the rest of the world. And now they're like, they want some of that hard cash, and they're just pushing it now. And it just seemed a weird one to, it's only 2 weeks. Will it make that much difference to rush it out? I was looking around to see what else was coming out, because I thought maybe they're trying to jump something else coming out, but I couldn't see anything major. It just looks like the rush for that Shang-Chi hard cash. Or hard cheddar, as the kids say, 20 years ago.
Yeah, can't say I've heard that phrase. Hard cheddar. Okay. Well, yeah, there we go. That is a bit of news. I got a vague recollection that we covered the trailer for Venom.
Yeah.
Has it got Tom Hardy in?
Yeah. Right.
Yep, I remember that one. Yep, okay. Good to know.
Cool. And that's the end of the news items.
Drop zone. Drop zone.
Okay, so now it's time for the Drop Zone, where we take a selection of upcoming trailers that have dropped to Tinternet this week.
Some would say the pick of the bunch, maybe.
Some would.
Some would say. I'm not saying I would say that. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Certainly not the cream of the crop all the time.
No.
So let's start our foray into the trailers with The Maid.
The Maid is directed by Lee Funkham, or Funkam, if you like, and stars Savike Cheyajic, Firapat Sajakul, Ploy Sorenin, and Kanapon Pungtong.
Well done, Brett. I'm impressed.
I'll get better at this. The Maid is a supernatural revenge thriller that tells the story of Joy, a young woman from the country who travels to the city to work as a housemaid at the fabulously wealthy house of Uma and Nirach. Joy is the replacement for the previous maid, who'd suddenly resigned in mysterious circumstances. Her duties include the care of the young daughter Nid, who suffers from frightening hallucinations that are attributed to a rare hereditary brain condition. Mrs. Wan, the head housemaid, tells Joy that there are 2 unbreakable household rules: never pry into the master's business and never enter the mistress's bedroom. Joy experiences odd occurrences as she wanders the eerie house and is confronted by the apparition of another maid, a ghostly presence that only she and Nid can see. Ignoring Juan's warnings, she sneaks into Uma's study at night and finds a photo of Uma, Nairak, and housemaid Ploy, Joy's sister who disappeared a year ago. The Maid, hit in the UK on the 11th of October 2021. Well, Asian horror, creepy house, freaky stuff, I'm in.
Yeah, and add a monkey to that.
Yeah, an evil, evil monkey. Yeah,
Well, I
definitely.
watched the trailer. Oh, there's a monkey. That's cool. Then the monkey got evil, and I thought, oh,
Yeah.
nope, still cool. Like it. Gonna watch it.
Yeah, get in there before the West ruin it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are bits that kind of look familiar to this genre, but, you know, let's see what they do with them.
Yeah, 100%. Is it? Does it say what it's how you can watch it? Is it VOD? Cinemas?
Well, it's saying it's available to download. So normally when they do that, and downloading and streaming from the 11th of October, normally it's about a month after that, and then it hits Blu-ray and, you know, DVD and whatever else. Yeah, it hasn't actually said where you can download it from though, which is annoying because normally it'll say it'll be on Amazon or it'll be on, but maybe it's just on all of them, you know, because you're buying it, aren't you? So it may be available on all providers. But yeah, this looks good. This is going on my this is on my list to watch.
This is on my wish list. Cool. Yeah.
Cool. That was easy. That makes a change.
Yeah.
All three of us in agreement, and we're going to watch them.
We all like to film. That's twice in one night.
It's going to be a very short drop zone if it continues like this.
Let's see how we get on with the next one then.
ZomBLOGalypse.
That's easy for you to say. ZomBLOGalypse.
Homemade horror comedy ZomBLOGalypse receives its UK premiere at the Dead Northern Film Festival in association with Fangoria and Shudder at City Screen Yacht on the 26th of September 2021. So it's coming. Oh, so it's going to be doing that, and it follows.
Yeah, I got a bit confused then. For a
Yeah,
second.
no. So no, normally when we get it, it's already been screened. So this is pre-screening where it's going to get its UK premiere, and it follows the chaotic misadventures of an unlikely trio who decide to make a film celebrating a decade of surviving the zombie apocalypse. They soon realise that making movies at the end of the world is even harder than usual. So, ZomBLOGalypse began in 2008 as a web series from Hannah Bungard, Tony Hitwell and Miles Watts, where they teamed up only armed with a laptop, a York flat and a tub of green face paint, and the series went on to clock over 1 million views across various platforms and developed a loyal fan base of international fans, and it ended up running for 4 seasons before the team used their, as they put in speech wraps, filmmaking boot camp of the web series to move into independent features. So it's grown out of a little web thing, and so what do we think, Paul?
I think I've seen the whole film in that trailer. They were quite generous with the amount they gave away, wasn't it? I don't know. I'm struggling whether this is something that I would go out of my way to watch. It's got a load of competition. I mean, it's a comedy zombie films. Let's face it, Shaun of the Dead is obviously going to be a comparison.
Set the
they're
bar.
turn a penny. It's
And I can
not.
see they've added in another, twist that they're making a zombie film.
During a zombie apocalypse, which is I think it's a nice touch.
I don't know. It's a tough one because obviously I didn't laugh through any of that trailer, but I could recognise there was some humour in there.
I like the
But they
way.
could have, with some of that humour, they could have had it in any filmmaking pastiche or take on. And as far as the zombie flick goes, obviously they're going to be limited to what special effects they can do, and they're always going to struggle with that.
But I like the way that they've addressed their limitations by making a film like during the zombie apocalypse. So it's like, is that the apocalypse or is that their film that we watched? You know what I mean? So it could be.
If I'm honest, I think I probably would have preferred it if they'd have been brought up for a stint on the BBC, similar to like Ghosts or something like that, like a quirky series, because they would have been given a bit more budget, and possibly delved a bit more into that, as I said, that
maybe easier
comedy
to digest in shorter chunks.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
if that was the original format,
There was that Olympics thing, wasn't it? When we were leading up to 2012, I forget what ECW. No, it was cool. I can't. It had it was like EC1 or something like that. It wasn't that because that's a postcode in London, but it was something along those lines where they're all sat around and they're trying to spitballing ideas and stuff like that. So and those scenes in that trailer were. You're not laughing out loud.
I know what you mean.
They were quite amusing. Is there a vegan option and whatnot? But I'm a bit like you, Paul. It's like an hour and a half runtime of kind of just a little bit stupidity. I mean, my benchmark for this kind of film is Cognies versus Zombies. If it matches that, then actually I'll put it in the list of films everyone should watch. But I was kind of watching that trailer thinking, yeah, okay, it's all cool, and then you get that explosion, and that explosion looked really bad. Now, does it look really bad because actually they've done it as post-production in their film, or is that genuinely they're blowing something up and it just looks shit? So the proof, that's the word, the proof is in the pudding of watching it. I think the idea's kind of, I don't think I've seen anything where they go, we're going to make a film about the apocalypse that's happening more or less around us as we speak. So that's quite a good idea. But
yeah, I'm hoping they've done a Team America. Do you remember the opening to that where there's what Trey Parker and Matt Stone done? They got the studio on it as well, because as it opens, there's like this just really crappy puppet show. Like really early Jerry Anderson type stuff, like the mouth don't move and all that, and they're all sort of fighting and the strings are getting tangled and they bump into each other, and then it pans back, and it's like the other puppets are watching the puppet show in Paris by the Eiffel Tower, and I'm hoping they've done that to us where, we're looking at it and thinking,
I don't think they have. I think they've had a limited budget, so they've done the best that they can to get this film released.
Well, we shall see. I would put it on the. I'd watch it if it was on.
Yeah,
the
I'm
list.
not. It hasn't. The trailer doesn't say to me, absolutely not. You're not going to watch this.
Yeah.
But it does say to me, I'm not going to go to cinema to watch it. But then it doesn't look like it's a cinema release anyway. I think you said Shudder were involved, didn't you?
Yeah, it was Shudder
so there's
and Fangoria as well.
So there's every chance it'll either be on Shudder through Prime or in the app.
It'll be doing, and it's doing the festival circuit as well. So it looks like it's won a few awards. So you never know. We might be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, but it does depend on what category it's won the award in. As it won category of best film shot on an iPhone, as opposed to most groundbreaking script and premise, but we shall see.
Right, so we shall see. Next on the drop zone is No One Gets Out Alive.
No one gets out alive.
You just said that.
It's an album, isn't it?
It was almost, if it was No One Here Gets Out Alive, they would have got a bit more street cred. It's arriving globally on Netflix on September the 29th.
So just in time for Halloween month.
I'm just trying to find... here we go. Amber, played by Christina Rudlow, is embarking on her American dream after years spent dutifully tending to her terminally ill mother in Mexico. She arrives in Cleveland illegally, with very little money and unsuitable clothing for what's expected to be the coldest winter on record. An interesting detail. After finding cash in hand work at a local garment factory, she rents the cheapest room available from Red, Mark Menchaca, in a nearby derelict boarding house. kept awake by the other tenants sobbing, disturbing nightmares, and strange, unearthly noises echoing from the basement, Amber begins to wonder exactly who or what lives inside the house with them. Soon it becomes clear that Amber has walked into a trap, one where she will soon be introduced to the evil that has been lurking in the basement. Amber must fight to escape her living nightmare, but in a house where no one listens to the screams, will she ever get out alive? Is it me, or is that the American remake of the film we just reviewed in the other trailer? It even had the drum kind of scary music, although I did like the free piano note bit. That's always a free note scary tune. Always there's something about it.
Yeah, but it's every horror film template trailer, isn't it? Really. So could be good.
It does look like it might be a little bit disturbing, so I'm up for that.
Yeah, they look like there's some proper jump sequences in there. It's so hard to get enthusiastic about these types of films.
I think this is it. We've been burnt so many, especially. I mean, we've mentioned it loads of times on these podcasts. I'm a real big fan of proper spooky horror, not slasher horror, ghost, supernatural, that kind of stuff. And over the last 20 years, every trailer has promised that really creepy feeling, and you just don't get it. And this one does the same. It looks, like I say, it's following that template. It looks the part, but I can't help thinking by about, I don't know, 50 minutes in, you're gonna be thinking, oh, yeah, it's that then, is it?
Yeah.
So, but bonus, it's on Netflix. We all got Netflix. Exactly. It means we haven't got to pay for it. We haven't got to go out of our way to watch it. It's, as we said, it's just in time for Halloween. So
exactly. Yeah.
Cool in a gang.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. It does look good, but at the same time, have we seen it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a good thing going for it is at least it's set in modern times. A lot of the stuff that Netflix churns out in a kind of horror spooky way is mostly either set 50 years ago or even further. Sometimes it's good to see a spooky horror that's set now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I said, it looks slick. Production quality looks good. There's obviously a storyline there. Yeah, we know what it is already. Fine, but you don't need to. That's the whole point about them. It's not knowing the storyline as you go into it. It's how it ends and the suspense to get there. I'll be watching.
All right, Steve.
We done? Moving on then.
We're rifling through the drop zone today. I'm impressed.
So our next...
And we're liking most of it as well.
Our next item in the drop zone is Hollow.
Hollow is a dark revenge thriller exploring the moral and religious intricacies surrounding the concept of revenge and redemption. Set on an impoverished working-class council estate, Hollow tells the story of two lost souls. Laura Ryan, a struggling single mother consumed by grief having lost her son to a drunk driver, and Father Hill, a racially abused local vicar, a man on the edge with dwindling faith. Driven by a strained bloodlust, Laura sets out on a voyeuristic campaign against her son's killer, hell-bent on violent retribution. However, her deep-rooted moral standards leave her hidden in the shadows time and again. She tortures herself for not having the strength to avenge her child, and she is consumed by misguided guilt. After seeking guidance from her local vicar, Father Hill, the pair explore the intricacies in the world written in the Bible, Romans 12. Beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God, for it is written, vengeance is mine, and I will repay, says the Lord.
There better be some killing in this. This just sounds like, I'm going to kill someone, and the father talks her out of it, and it's a deep psychological
then
exploration.
Father Hill, they're giving a lot away at this. Father Hill prays for the Lord to take his revenge and save Laura from damnation, but his prayers continually go unanswered. both fueled by a growing lack of faith and a growing hatred for the world around them and the injustices that litter their estate. The pair head towards a tragic and violent climax that will change both of their lives forever. They say the works in mysterious ways, don't they?
Do you mean they say the Lord
The
works?
Lord works in mysterious ways.
What did I say?
Yeah, you missed a key word there, which was
Lord.
the Lord.
Okay.
Said they works. Anyway.
They say the Lord works in mysterious ways, don't they?
Does he?
We'll find out. And the synopsis kind of tells you most of it anyway. And I do like a gritty revenge thriller. And it's got all the elements of things I like, especially like the council state element, the likes of your Harry Browns and all that sort of thing. Those kind of work well. And the bit with the vicar or the father sounds intriguing. Yeah, I think I'd give it a watch.
So,
But I hope it does get a bit violent.
from looking at the trailer, if I'm honest, they looked like they were putting on some good performances of that, woman that's obviously gone through some hard times, living on a council estate. I just don't want to watch it.
What puts me off is, this is billed as a short, so what are we talking? I don't think it probably says anywhere what the runtime is, but it's obviously not a feature film. So what are we talking? Half an hour, 40 minutes? I don't know if I can be bothered.
I'm intrigued though because looking at the cast list, there are a number of people listed as chav. So I think we might get a few people getting some vengeance or taking.
If there's no killing with a cross when they get revenge at the end of the day, not interested. We'll see. I'll let someone else watch that, and you can let me know what it's like, Brett. Okay, so it's a nice segue from one film about a priest and his flock looking to the Lord for redemption and vengeance to our final film on the Drop Zone, Shepherd.
Like what you did there. That's good.
Yeah, that was.
Don't just throw this shit together, yeah?
Okay, Shepherd. Running from grief after the mysterious death of his wife, Eric Black takes the job as a shepherd. Trapped alone on a majestic, weather-beaten island with an ominous secret, one man's spiraling madness meets a vengeful supernatural force which starts as the perfect windswept escape becomes a race to save his sanity and his life. It stars Tom Hughes, Kate Dickie, Gaia Wise and Greta Scacchi.
Do you mean Greta Scacchi?
Scacchi, yeah, whatever. And it is getting a theatrical release on the 5th of November, and it was written and directed by Russell Owen.
I think a lot depends on that guy's performance. I think if he carries it, it looks like he does in the trailer, to be fair, but a trailer can do wonders for a film. If he can carry that performance throughout, it could be quite good. It certainly looks better than that rabbit nonsense that I watched on the Shudder a few months back. I can never remember what it's called now. No, I've lost it. I did remember the other day.
Where he goes to the island, looks after the
the sister or something, and there's a scary ass rabbit doll type thing.
Is that the one where they couldn't leave the house and they got tied
he's
to the
chained up
room or
and all
something
that.
on it? Yeah.
It looked to kind of, obviously it's not the same premise and nothing like that, but it's one guy on his own in the house basically, and that wasn't very good. But this already looks better than that. Although to be fair, the trailer to that film looked really cool.
No, it does look solid. I'll say that. I was hoping a bit more. I don't know, when I hear like Abandoned Island, I'm hoping for a bit more of me folk horror, kind of a little bit more maybe. But then, we don't get everything, and clearly that lady's got some sort of gripe or some connection, so...
Yeah, and it looks like it's playing on the whole isolation piece as well. Is it really an evil thing there? Is it him battling his own demons?
Yeah.
Is he
the evil?
Yeah. Yeah,
Hopefully I haven't ruined it.
performances looks good, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was a bit of a dubious car crash with
Yeah, I did think that didn't look very convincing, did it?
No.
No.
No, really, they got
like
a
radio
big cool
controlled car
ET
being chucked off.
toy. Yeah.
But the big news for Shepherd is that it's been given an official selection for the BFI London Film Festival 2021 as well. So there will be a lot of eyes on it, and it could, that would help its profile and boost that even more. So
Yeah, it'll do wonders for
it's
profile.
one of those,
but
yeah.
when you say things like that, it tends to make me think. Well, from a critic's point of view and from a film school point of view, the direction's going to be great, or in some arty-farty way, it's a great study on grief or loss or loneliness.
Yeah.
But as an actual entertaining horror film, it's going to be a bit dull. I mean, it did almost look like it should have been shot in black and white and have French subtitles, but
But you'll be able to see it at the BFI London Film Festival on the
Oh, thanks,
14th
Brett.
of October.
We got tickets.
Yeah, I'm treating you. And it hits cinemas on the 5th of November. I want to watch it. I don't know if I go to cinema. Maybe I need to watch the trailer again. I will watch it. I think it'll be good. I'm just in that kind of thing. Like you say, it's that burnout thing.
Is there anything that you're going to go to the cinema to see that isn't DC, Marvel, or Star Wars?
I wouldn't pay 17 quid to go to the cinema to watch that, and that's not a disrespect to that movie. I only go to the cinema to watch something that needs to be seen at the cinema because of some stuff.
on that kind of screen.
Bells,
Yeah.
spaceships flying in from the other corner, and you hear it one ear until and you don't hear it until 2 seconds later in the other ear. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's a Saturday night chiller at home.
I think it's going to be good, but I would probably wait till it turns up on a provider, whatever we call them nowadays, a service,
A platform.
provider, a platform.
Let's go.
You
with
are
platform.
down with the
From now on, we're going
kids.
to call them platforms.
Platforms, yes, platforms.
Cool. So that is the end of the drop zone, and that's the end of the podcast. So, as always, you can find us on your regular streaming services. Damien mentioned a number of reviews that are up on the cultfaction.com website, including the podcast, but you know that because you're listening to us. Don't forget to check us out, as I said, on the likes of Apple and Spotify.
Again, you would know that if you're listening to this.
Well, yeah, but they might be listening to us through one of those mediums, but think, it's a bit pain. But if I sign up to the podcast app on Apple, I get notified when it just comes there.
Just pops up in my inbox.
I'm just saying, we're out there on all platforms.
And we would really, really, really appreciate it if you could give us a review and a like. Say what you see. Say what you see.
Review.
Or hear.
Review us, reviewing them.
Yeah. Going for a laugh.
And if you do have any comments, any suggestions, any feedback, or just
Any hate mail, whatever.
or just want to let us know that we're not talking.
Okay, we're sounding a little bit needy now. Let's just let us know we're not pissing in the wind. I think is what we're saying here.
Yeah. Then email us or tweet us. But email us to the email address, cultfactionpodcast@mail.com. I just want to say that because I can remember the email address.
Well done.
And as I said, this has been episode 25 of the Cult Faction podcast. I've lost the bloody title.
That's not what it's called.
Yeah, no, but we'll change the title. Where is it? Okay. So you have been listening to episode 25 of the Cult Faction podcast, Wheels, Pills and Bellyaches. I've been Paul Hawkins, as ever joined by...
Damien Hicks. Oh, I feel like we're going back to the start again.
It's only because I couldn't find the Wheels, Pills and Bellyaches. So I had to go off and...
So is it a goodbye from you now?
Well, I thought I'd let you say
You introduce
goodbye.
yourself
You
again.
just reintroduced yourself, and now, I mean, we could go again. It could be like an epic
Okay,
4 hours.
dig out some more trailers, Brett. Off we go.
Planet of the Apes.
So, thank you for listening to Cult Faction Podcast, episode 25, Wheels, Pills and Bellyaches. I have been your host for this evening, Paul Hawkins, and I've been joined by, it's a good night for me, and I've been joined by these two monks. Fucking hell. Oh, it's so funny when it's me messing up a couple of times. How many takes did we start off doing when we first kicked off the podcast?
No, it wasn't
I'm just
that.
saying.
Get Larry Paul.
Well, I started so well.
It wasn't that I was laughing at. I was laughing that you just decreed yourself like main host.
No, I've been the host for this evening. That's what we always
Yeah,
say.
and joining me. Sorry, Letterman.
Corden. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're not that much of a bastard.
So try it one more time.
No, I think we should just carry on.
Yeah, go. Do it.
So it's a goodbye from me.
And a sayonara from me.
Sleep well. Don't have nightmares.
You'll come back now, you hear?
Superman.
You sure got a pretty mouth. Piss bright.
Roll out the barrel.
Hey, it's hopping off its tits. Roll over. Oh, could you grab us a Coca-Cola, please?
What's it for the blood?
Hammer time.
Let's not have an argument about the title.